I had this conversation with Teben. You know Teben? Teben is a Malaysian guy. He was in Pascal, the movie, which is like quite a famous movie.
Was
if
it
you're
Mima runner-up?
Yeah, winner. He won Mima too. The year before he fought Ahmed.
Okay.
So I'm going to get Ahmed on the podcast, and maybe Teben too if he's ever here and wants to do it. But I'm going to get Ahmed on the podcast to tell this story because it's one of the craziest fucking stories ever. So Ahmed, the guy we were talking about earlier, he fought a teammate in the finals of Mima, which is like a Malaysian-only tournament.
Malaysian invasion, yeah.
It's the Malaysian-only amateur MMA tournament.
Yep.
And it's a tournament style. You fight a bunch of times over a period of like 6 months, and then the finalists fight in a big show.
Yep.
And Ahmed ended up being paired up with his friend and training partner, Teben. And this was right before I moved to Clinch.
Yes.
And I became the coach of the gym that
For both of them,
right? But of course, I know Ahmed from way back. I cornered him for a lot of fights through Mima, and he used to be the owner of one of the gyms that I work for. And then he brought me to Malaysia to start teaching there. And he fought his friend in the finals of this Mima tournament, which I think is awesome, honestly. Because
that was a good fight.
I think too many people get sucked into this
Get very
idea,
set up that you can't fight a
especially
friend.
the jiu-jitsu community. I don't like the fact that when people close out brackets, that like they'll flip a coin. Like, if you're two people from GF team and you meet in the finals, flip a coin to see who wins.
No,
Fuck
fight.
that.
Fuck
what?
that. Fight.
Fuck that. Like,
fight.
You train with these people all the time and you're not going to compete with them in the finals of a tournament. Like, it doesn't matter. If you flip it, you're just putting the odds up to randomness. One of those people is better most of the time. And if he's not better most of the time, maybe that day is his day. And you can beat the person who's been beating you in training. I come from a wrestling background, and in wrestling, you compete for your position. There's no flipping fucking coins when you're in the finals of a tournament. I mean, Jesus Christ, what are we doing? It's a competition, but you can't compete in a tournament against the people you compete with every day in training. It's fucking stupid. Anyway, so they get to the finals of this tournament, and they have to decide, like, do they fight each other? You know, because they're friends, they're training partners. And there's a lot of psychology that goes into that situation because you train with that person every day. You know if you win, you know if you lose. One of those people is dominant more often than the other. And you know that, both of you. And so the finals come up. Ahmed is fighting Teben. They're friends. And so Ahmed brings me down I go down to corner him. And then he's got some other dudes from Clinch, the same gym, cornering him in the finals. And I think it's awesome that they were just like, fuck it, dude. Like, we're not enemies. We just go
fight.
in there.
Yeah, just fight.
It's a competition. It's sport. That's all it is.
At the end of the day, all you're looking to do is fight someone else.
Yeah, it's not personal.
No one gives a shit. No, fuck that.
And so, a hilarious story that happened in this fight, right? So it's a back and forth fight. I mean,
that was a good fight.
Ahmed was using his wrestling, and he was using some rangy strikes. And then, but Teben was kind of blitzing him, landed some hard elbows on him. But Ahmed's game plan was to grapple and kick and punch from a distance. And he wanted to get Teben down because he thought his jiu-jitsu was better. And Teben wanted to stay long. He's a big, powerful guy, powerful striker, dynamic karate. He's got really good spinning attacks, really good spinning back kick. He hit me with it a few times in training. Unpredictable, powerful striker, though. And I remember they were in the second or third round, right? And Ahmed is on top of Teben. They're in the corner. So I'm sitting in the corner with Ahmed's brother, Ehsan.
Yeah, with Ehsan.
And we're sitting in the corner, cornering Ahmed. And, I mean, he's as close, they're fighting, and they're as close to me as you are. And while they're fighting, Ahmed's on top doing ground and pound, and Teben's, like, pushing him away. He's using his hands to try to push. And Ahmed, like, drops down. At the same time, Teben pushed away, and Teben, like, elbowed him in the face from the bottom. Like a hard elbow to the face. But in amateur MMA, you're not allowed to elbow to the face.
No elbows.
So I remember, like, while it happened, Teben apologizes to Ahmed in the corner. He goes, "Oh, bro, I'm sorry." And I'm just kind of talking shit. I'm like, "Hey, what was that?" And he looks up to me and he goes, "Sorry, coach." And then there's this, like, back and forth. They're talking to each other about this accidental foul that happened while they're in the middle of fighting, while they're right next to us. And I hear, like, the camera people and the producers to the side start laughing because they're having a fucking conversation with the corner in the middle of this fight. And it was one of those things where it was beautiful. Because it was detached. They're just trying to have a fight. There's a foul in the middle of the fight, and they decide they have a conversation. They say sorry. They move on, and they just continue trying to kill each other. Right? And it's one of those things that it was just a beautiful story of two people just going in there, having sport,
doing what they got to do.
They're not losing their minds. A really great story, and I think that's how MMA should ultimately be approached. It's
Agreed.
Not personal. Right? It's nothing like that.